Well, guys, new files released, Epstein files, and it looks like definitely there were some of the communications between Epstein, Russian officials about Donald Trump. Actually, judging on emails, which were leaked by Democrats, but they're legit, even though Donald Trump says that those are hoax. No, those are legit emails. They were leaked by congressmen, presented just a few days ago, and yeah, there is now some sort of the scandal about it. Let's check out one of the emails. We're gonna check them, some of them today. I want to zoom in a little. So for me, it is interesting to know the connection with Russia because on my main channel I speak about Russia things. So in 2018, there were the conversations where Jeffrey Epstein himself said that Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It is simple. He must be seen to get something. That's kind of the term, very interesting term. Then I'll met Lavrov assistant on Monday and will suggest, thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come on a high-level week. What does it mean? Hard to say, but Epstein was looking for direct connections with the Russian administration via different officials because Vitaly Churkin, the representative of Russia in United Nations, he passed away at some time. I think you might suggest to Putin and Lavrov can get insight on talking to me. So that's the actual Epstein's message. So Vitaly Churkin used to, but he died. So there was the communication between Vitaly Churkin and Jeffrey Epstein. It is now evident from those leaked emails. Yeah, the information contained in communication is confidential, not any longer, and Epstein cannot do anything with it because he died himself. One more message was shared today. Jeffrey Epstein, importance high. I'd rather be in Denys D's shoes. Here, I think they spoke together with some of the relatives. You mean Donny T? You and your boy Donny can make a remake of the movie Get Hard, sent via Teen Ken and Sting. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing booba. All good, Bannon with me. How are you doing? A while back you mentioned that you were pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy Donald up to now? Bannon is one more official, also in a close contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and I wonder whom Trump was blowing and whether Putin has photos blowing booba. Booba, I think Bill Clinton. Could it be like that? Booba, I wonder. So what I'm telling here that there are lots of the names of the Russian officials, high-rank officials in those leaked emails, which were shared by Democratic part of the Congress. And here we have the information about this Booba thing. So Mark Epstein asked his brother Jeffrey Epstein whether Steve Bannon could confirm if Putin has the photo of Trump blowing Booba. Jeffrey Epstein said, I thought I had tsuris, using the Yiddish term for troubles. That's the name, yeah. Yeah, the conversation was with a relative of Epstein, not relative of Trump, yes. By the way, Republicans were trying to block this release, but no, it didn't happen as they wanted to, and now those messages, they're publicly available. There was even the message saying that Trump spent the time with the victim. Yeah, here's what they say about the victim. I want to release that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. They hide the name, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. What does it mean, the dog that hasn't barked is Trump? The dog that hasn't barked, it means that person probably who knows something and he doesn't tell the information, the secret information to something, as what I understand, yeah, judging on my English idiom knowledge. And presumably they say that the victim was not the victim of Donald Trump, but the victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here on other files which were presented also in YouTube video of CoffeeZilla, I watched the analytics of CoffeeZilla. He is pretty much detailed, so it's Virginia, yeah?
That hasn't barked is Trump. And then it says, Virginia spent hours at my house with him. Now, that name is really important because it's Virginia Giuffre. She was the Prince Andrew accuser, but importantly, she did not accuse Trump, rather saying that he couldn't have been friendlier. This obviously is one of the main reasons the GOP appears to have released this, because in part, they're implying that, hey, if you release this redacted, people are going to speculate who this victim was, thinking that there was something that happened, but actually the person that's in there didn't accuse Trump of something illegal. And so this is sort of the implication here, with the Democrats saying, well, you're unredacting a victim's name. So that's been the battle there. Specifically, the second email, by the way, just further confirms it. It says blank worked at Mar-a-Lago. She was one of the ones that accused Prince Andrew.
Yeah, she accused not Epstein himself, Prince Andrew, I'm sorry here. Unfortunately, Virginia passed away this year, and of course GOP may rely on her words, which she said not long time before she passed away, maybe a few years even. Then she definitely said that Donald Trump didn't do anything, but could she say it like that under pressure or trying to avoid some potentially bad things which could happen to her, because by that time Trump was already a powerful guy? Well, we'll never know because she passed away, but now MAGA, they used her words as the alibi for Donny. You see, it's all Prince Andrew, it's not Donny. So for GOP now it's kind of comfy to say about her name and what she said, but she's not only one victim of this scheme and this crime, outrageous crime unhinged. So for sure more of the emails will be leaked. And what Donny says about the case, it is his most recent post relative to the case. Now that Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and a relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, Morgan, Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and with him. This is another Russia scam, with all arrows pointing to Democrats. Records show that this man and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. The proper defense is to counterattack right away, yeah, Donald Trump. And those messages have just been released. They're around 20,000, as I mentioned to you. And as in good detective novel, they will add more and more story maybe even every day. And the fact that Donny is there and Epstein actually proposed to communicate about Donny with Russian officials of how to get this connection after Churkin's death, well, it shows something, yeah? And with this usually aggressive reaction, Trump is just melting down about this case because he has no real protection against those leaked emails. Those are not the Epstein files, once again, just some of the messages from Epstein box, but they've been released right now. I wonder why now, why not before, and why Republicans are still blocking the release of everything. Plus, we witnessed that MAGA is running out of the arguments, and now they're even calling that Jeffrey Epstein was not a pedophile. Let's listen to Megyn Kelly, I think it's her name. She's like really pro-Trump. Yeah, Megyn Kelly.
For Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting.
Yes, this is disgusting. And that's what the new narrative they try to propel. I know the guy who know Epstein, and he, he's not a pedophile. He just he like young girls who are younger than 18. It's already fuck.
I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal.
Shit, this is disgusting. And she said herself that she sounds disgusting. So he's a nice guy after all. Yeah, he was not into 80-year-olds, but 15 is pretty much okay. Yeah, because they look way older than they are.
I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10, I was under 14 when I first came within his purview. You can say that's a distinction without a doubt.
So yeah, it's like if you were 15, you're not a victim because you look like 20 or 30. Poor Jeffrey Epstein. You should have told him that you are way younger than he thought. But he's just a guy who likes those teens. He's a teeny guy. Shit, guys. Then I thought that it couldn't go lower. It is lower than expected. This one is interesting from Epstein. Recall I've told you I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump from the smaller letter. Not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous. Yeah. This was sent by Jeffrey Epstein himself to Larry Summers. Well, Democrats tweeted one day ago that petition to release Epstein files now has enough signatures to force a vote in the House. And I'm gonna see how Mike Johnson will try to block this voting, because I think it's gonna happen. And after all, it seems like Democrats are not afraid to release it, but MAGA afraid. FBI reported, we face lies, smears, and we face absolutely everything. And it's a good response, actually, from Austin Defender. They say, please just release Epstein files. Here they say it's it's very simple thing to do. Release the files because they're out there. At first, Denys said that, no, those are not the files. They do not exist. That's what FBI reports stated. After it, they're the files, but they're made by Democrats or they're hoax. So please release it. If they're hoax, we're gonna judge, because those emails we receive, they're legit. They're definitely legit. One more meltdown of Donny. Epstein was a Democrat, and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem. But by the time Donny himself was not a Republican. That's the issue. An interesting message came from the major retailer Green. She's one of those few Republicans who signed the petition to release those files. So Democrats had 4 years under Biden to release all of that, but never even tried or cared. Now under full Republican control, there were only 4 Republicans that signed the discharge petition for the massive resolution to release Epstein files. Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. Next week, when everyone is forced to go on record to vote to release the Epstein files, I expect the number of Republicans to be a lot higher that actually vote yes, but remember the original 4. So it means that they basically cover up Donny. They cover up themselves, and just few outrageous nuclear MAGA, they really want to release the files. Well, maybe because Donny applied sanctions on Russia, and that is how Russia wants some sort of the revenge, using Marjorie Taylor Greene to sign petition to release those files. I don't know. Maybe Russia wants to press Donny right now, and we saw the communication between Epstein and some of the officials that he was looking for the contacts. He had the contacts with Russia. So I do not exclude that Russia hoax is not hoax after all, and that very dark forces, including Epstein himself, are involved. Well, we'll see. I hope that the next week they're gonna release all of the Epstein files uncensored. I wonder what Donny might say in that case. Again, hoax stuff, because I'm almost sure that if they want to hide those files that much, that there is something out there, something that might destroy not just career of Donald Trump, but himself almost physically. He would be just a disgrace of American nation. There is the great probability of the end of the Donald Trump. And here again, I agree with Olsen Defender. Yes, they are biased, but I read them because they share very interesting information. They have also very interesting opinions, and here I agree with them. I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats, CEOs, or even the president. Everyone goes down who was involved with Epstein. Everyone. I support that statement 100%. And yeah, Russia also could be involved in that. Maybe also some of the Russian officials. But this goes crazy. So you see, this case is not fading away. It is so uncomfortable for Donny. Then he heard the questions about Epstein files. He's not responding on them any longer. He doesn't know what to say because the facts which are presented, his involvement into this scheme, into this wrongdoing, they're so vivid out there that he has no excuse. And it's gonna get worse for him because more and more files themselves, they have high chance to be released very soon. And more email leaks. Yeah, Donny's fucked, guys. It's gonna be probably, as I say to you, the end of Donald Trump and maybe MAGA as a movement. And since MAGA poisoned the Republican Party of the United States, I don't expect anyone to be elected as a president from Republican Party for decades ahead if everything is uncovered about Epstein case. Guys, I'm gonna keep you updated because this is very interesting. Very interesting. Ciao.